On August 12, 1985, the Japanese sky was ablaze with the sunset. But in just a moment, a terrible tragedy occurred. Japan Airlines Flight 123, a Boeing 747 carrying 524 passengers and crew, left Haneda Airport on a short trip to Osaka. No one expected that, just 12 minutes after takeoff, an explosion would shatter all hope. The plane crashed into the slopes of Mount Osataka, claiming the lives of 520 people, becoming the deadliest single plane crash in history. What led to this tragedy? A small mistake or a fateful chain of events? Join us as we explore the truth behind the JAL 123 tragedy through the lens of aviation experts. JAL Flight 123 was a routine domestic flight between Tokyo and Osaka, a journey that lasted less than an hour. The cabin was packed with 509 people, mostly families returning to their hometowns to celebrate Obon, a traditional Japanese holiday. There were also 15 crew members on board, led by Captain Masami Takahama, a veteran pilot with more than 12,000 hours of flying time. The Boeing 747SR, flight number JA8119, was the pride of Japan Airlines, specially designed for short-haul flights. With maximum seating capacity, no one expected that this would be their last flight. At 18:12, the plane took off from Haneda Airport, 12 minutes behind schedule. Everything went smoothly until 12 minutes later, when the plane reached 24,000 feet over Sagami Bay. There was a terrifying explosion from the tail. The cabin pressure suddenly dropped, and the air rushed out like a storm. The rear pressure bulkhead ruptured, taking with it the vertical tail fin and all 4 hydraulic systems, the heart of the plane. The crew immediately issued a distress signal, but they quickly realized the plane had completely lost control. For the next 32 minutes, Captain Takahama and his crew fought desperately. Without a rudder or flaps, they could only use the thrust of the engines to try to stabilize the plane. But JAL 123 swung wildly, rising and falling, like a ship lost. In a storm, pilots repeatedly called Tokyo Air Traffic Control, their voices a mixture of panic and determination. At 18:56, fate struck. JAL 123 crashed into the slopes of Mount Osataka, Gunma Prefecture, at a speed of more than 630 kilometers per hour. An explosion lit up the sky, and plane debris was scattered across the slopes. Only 4 people, sitting in the back seats, were lucky to survive. 520 souls were gone forever in the flames and smoke. The outside environment. Japan Airlines commissioned Boeing to repair it, but it was here that a technical error sowed the seeds of disaster. Instead of the standard 2 rows of rivets, Boeing's engineering team used only 1, weakening the repair area by 70%. A patch was installed incorrectly, creating microscopic cracks that were invisible to the naked eye. Over more than 12,000 takeoff and landing cycles, these cracks grew larger, in a process engineers called metal fatigue, by August 12, 1985. As the plane reached 24,000 feet, the pressure difference caused the bulkhead to rupture, taking the entire tail structure and control system with it. Aviation experts call it one of the most serious maintenance failures in history. How did such a mistake slip through quality control procedures? Who is ultimately responsible, Boeing, Japan Airlines, or both? The Japanese investigation report makes clear that, with proper repairs, the tragedy could have been avoided. But the bigger question remains, are similar mistakes still occurring in the aviation industry today?
The JAL 123 incident was a serious consequence of a structural maintenance error, a typical example of cumulative risk in the aviation industry if not closely monitored. Boeing's faulty repairs after the 1978 accident silently created a critical weakness in the aircraft's rear pressure bulkhead. When the bulkhead ruptured due to cabin pressure, the entire hydraulic control system was destroyed, leaving the crew completely unable to control the aircraft. This tragedy highlighted that a small maintenance error, if not strictly controlled, can lead to unpredictable consequences. It also became a turning point that prompted the global aviation industry to raise standards for repair, post-accident inspections, and internal safety culture.
The slopes of Mount Osutaka Gunma Prefecture became the final resting place of the 520 passengers and crew. Only 4 survived, all seated in the back row: Yumi Oshai, a flight attendant, and 3 other female passengers. Their story is a miracle between life and death, but also a heartbreaking reminder of what was lost. Many may have survived the crash, but the terrain took rescuers 12 hours to reach the site. When they arrived, all that remained was smoke and debris. The crash left a deep wound in Japan. Japan Airlines lost more than 20% of its passengers in the following year as public confidence collapsed. Boeing and JAL faced a wave of criticism, forcing them to change maintenance procedures. New safety systems were added, such as a shutoff valve to protect the hydraulic system, but these improvements did little to ease the pain of the thousands of families who lost loved ones. The JAL 123 crash also raises many concerns for the aviation industry. How could a small maintenance mistake have such catastrophic consequences? Do airlines today really check every detail thoroughly? The delay in the rescue operation makes us wonder, if a similar accident happened in a remote mountainous area, could we do better? And with older aircraft still in service, how can we ensure they are safe? This tragedy is not just an event of the past, but a warning for the future. The JAL 123 tragedy is a hard lesson for the global aviation industry. It reminds us that every little detail in maintenance, every decision made by the crew, can mean the difference between life and death. The aviation industry has changed since the accident. Quality control procedures have been tightened. New technology has enabled real-time monitoring of aircraft, and rescue teams have been trained to respond more quickly in difficult terrain. Today's aircraft, such as the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350, are equipped with stronger materials and more advanced safety systems. But technology is only part of the equation. Airline safety requires a zero-tolerance culture, from the maintenance shop floor to the cockpit. The JAL 123 crash teaches us that every flight is a promise to bring passengers home safely. We must continue to learn from the past, so that no tragedy is repeated.
From the perspective of aviation experts, the JAL 123 accident leaves 3 major and profound lessons for the entire industry. 1. Incorrect technical repairs can lead to disaster. The accident originated from Boeing's improper repair process after the 1978 incident, using patch panels instead of solid panels. This created a serious weakness in the pressure bulkhead, a vital part of the aircraft structure. Lesson: in aviation, all repairs must strictly comply with technical standards, leaving no room for compromise. 2. The inspection and maintenance monitoring system must be independent. An multi-layer earth crack in the bulkhead existed for 7 years, but was not detected during periodic inspections. This shows a loophole in the post-repair inspection process. Lesson: it is necessary to build a multi-layered, independent, and mutually critical technical inspection system, not completely dependent on the repair party. 3. Control system. Design must have real redundancy. The aircraft lost all hydraulics after the tail was deployed, leaving the pilot unable to control it. Lesson: engineering design must consider the worst-case scenario, ensuring the aircraft can be controlled in an emergency, without relying on a single system.
On the slopes of Mount Osutaka, a silent memorial stands where every year, the victims' families come to pay their respects to the departed. Among them is singer Kyu Sakamoto, who sang the famous song Sukiyaki, and 519 other souls. Each, with their own dreams and stories, the JAL 123 accident is not just a number in the history books, but a painful memory of a nation. But from pain, we find lessons. This tragedy reminds us that aviation safety is the responsibility of all of us engineers, pilots, and passengers. Let the memory of JAL 123 be a beacon that lights the way to safer skies. Please take a moment to remember the 520 people who lost their lives on August 12, 1985.